eventually. Oh,
Hey everyone,
Susan,
as you coming in, people are coming in fast.
yes. Well,
You got
Susan,
a big following, Wendy.
I don't. Well, I people want to see me live. I don't know why. It's not much to look at. Hi, Susan.
Even if it's
I
not much to look at, there's a lot to talk with.
Susan, I want
But
you
I
to
think you're good
know.
to look at.
Yeah, Susan, I want you to know. Please log into the Substack app on your phone or your tablet if you come to tonight's live because I want to bring you in. Oh,
Oh, hi
there's
Susan. Yeah,
yeah.
you subscribe and respond to a lot of my stuff. I really appreciate the comments you put on.
Oh, there's
Oh, Fusen, thank you.
Busan and Aaron are here. Aaron's here, and so is
Oh,
Kim.
Kim's here. We've got a, oh, there it is. Now I can join my own live. Let me turn my sound off. Sweet. Now I might actually be able to chat with. I
Yeah,
always,
Suzanne
every,
Thoreau. That's what I was saying. Yeah, if you could, if you could like be logged into the Substack app on your phone or whatever, because I have wanted to bring you into my live sessions many times over, and I never get it. So.
I'm going to invite Erin for a little bit because she said she's on a break from work if you can join. Love having you on. Oh no, Erin is not available.
No, she
Oh,
asked.
she's here to at least hang out.
Yeah, yeah.
Good. I'm glad you're here with us, Erin. Um, so welcome everyone as you're coming in. And I'm going to use puns and penis jokes throughout this the whole time. Um, because I wrote a poem this morning and I'll even reread it on this one because I think it was fun and funny and it's not my normal style. And I'll just wait till Miranda gets here if she can make it. Because I'd love for her to hear it this time. Um, but yeah, welcome everyone. Um it's Shit Talk with Nick and Wendy right now, working on a name. I have not drafted any of these opinions with Wendy yet, so she's just hearing them on the fly with me. We'll figure it all out, but we're having a great time. And today we want to continue or I want to continue the discussion around the pedo palooza that's going on in our country and the shifting of the Overton window to make pedophilia normalized. And I think it's disgusting. Um, and Wendy, I think you're a great person to be able to discuss, unfortunately, some harder topics with because you have experienced some things in your life that have been abusive. And I know this topic is disgusting to everyone.
Right.
Um, and I want to get your thoughts on what's going on, and what what we can continue doing if you have any or ideas
Oh,
or
well,
questions.
believe me, I as people will know, I am a fairly prolific writer, and the reason for that is that I don't sleep at night, and I stay perpetually angry. So, on this specific topic, I have so we're talking about the normalization. Yeah, Susan, you probably are, but you can't accept a live request if you're not on the actual app from your phone or your iPad or whatever, like me. Um, but we could talk about that later. And anyway, so talking about the normalization of pedophiliac related shit. And
Yes.
I think for you to do that, you have to look at why SA is normalized because that's where it starts. And so
Hmm.
people normalize sexual assault in politics. And the reason for that is power dynamics. Those power dynamics create those environments where misconduct gets overlooked. And so party loyalty, fear of political consequences, and lesser evil thinking is why people rationalize political members committing those acts. And so, in relation to the Jeffrey Epstein aspect. Elite networks that are built around those power dynamics create a mutual benefit of silence and institutional capture. When that institutional capture happens, that's when all of this normalization of whatever behavior occurs. And so I'm going to keep talking while he's.
Yeah. Yep.
So people respond to, for instance, the Trump Epstein connection through a partisan filter, which is created entirely by those networks and that power dynamic that exists. And so supporters minimize or dismiss that relationship while they while critics emphasize it. So that cognitive dissonance leads people to rationalize uncomfortable facts about figures they support, which turns into the Cyrus, exception or whatever. They biblically say because of the Cyrus exception, that means that it's okay. But the human mind is like nature. It seeks balance when truth feels threatening to established beliefs. And so when that happens, that's where we see what we're seeing because now bounce from the other side of that equation and starting to say, you've normalized this. That's not acceptable.
Yeah. Yeah. I absolutely agree. I also think that it's interesting to see how shocked the government seems to be that people are pushing back on the normalization. Like they they're trying people in power are very actively trying to push the normalization of pedophilia. Um, but there's so many people who are pushing back, even people like Nazi Nick Fuentes. He pushed back and he pushed back really, really hard on Donald Trump in a very public way on his podcast and said, we're going to just vote for Democrats instead because the Republicans have failed us. Donald Trump is failing us. He's fat loser. These are like his words, not ours. This is coming from inside their own house. The problem becomes, and this just on a political side, not on the pedophilia side right now. The problem for political side is they fracture, and that leaves a power vacuum. And Donald Trump is very good at filling vacuums. He's a giant orange fucking suck. He's like a black hole, but orange. And he just sucks everything good into him and destroys it. Um, and I think we're seeing that with the stuff and with the corruption of the US government being exposed, at least, to what it's doing. Like, I don't think Donald Trump is the cause of everything going on. He's not the devil. He's not Satan. He's not the underlying cause. He's a symptom, and he's part of it because he's part of that power structure of disgusting, powerful mob men and who think that they can control everything. But he's not the underlying basis of it. It's the misogyny built into the system. It's the bigotry built into the system. It's the allowing that men who look like me can say things that are really inappropriate about other people or say things on the internet now like, oh, it's okay that he raped a little girl as long as he's doing God's work. I'm sorry. Please tell me more churches that have the highest rate of pedophilia in the world that we know of. Like, can we fucking get past? I understand it's a like different cultures have different ages. I understand that womanhood is defined differently in different areas of the world. We're in the US. Our moral compass says you're an adult at 18. Our laws say you're an adult at 18. 18 is fucking disgusting for anyone who's over 30. Anyone who's over 25. Unless you knew the person growing up and you were friends in like a normal friendship way, it's disgusting. Like, why? And now religious leaders are coming out openly saying it. We imprison people for this. We push people out of the Catholic Church. We made the Catholic Church become more progressive and push this out. And then they all went to these MAGA churches and right-wing neo-fascist Russian-backed propagandized churches to hate everything.
And there's
Um,
there's a reason for that.
yes.
Um, the primary reason for this, it turns into identity politics.
Hmm.
So identity politics creates tribalism, which shifts loyalty that can override moral judgment.
Yep.
When political identity becomes core to self concept, it becomes an us versus them mentality. Um, like pack animals protecting territories or whatever. That tribalism lets bad actors, and not just Trump. Trump is a symptom of the larger problem of
Yep.
identity politics,
The
which
Heritage
means,
Foundation has power for a reason.
yeah, um, that tribalism lets bad actors exploit group loyalty, knowing that supporters will rationalize that misconduct rather than fracture their worldview over it because it's not secure. And so the wisdom that we take from that is that blind loyalty breeds corruption, and that's why it exists.
So, with the advent of AI and, say, the destruction of the Department of Education and Linda McMahon WWEing and like no hate to WWE, like I don't have a problem with the actors or the people who like do performative things like that for shows. Like, good. People want entertainment. Entertain people. It's acting, it's performative. But now she's calling for A1 steak sauce to be our fucking education system. How do you think that's going to be impacted in the age of technology and the moral crisis we're at right now? How do you think AI is going to impact that?
Okay, so it's going to cause two inherent problems. The first problem is that AI will be able to amplify misinformation and create smaller bodies of echo chambers that reinforce the very identity politics that we are trying to move away from. And it makes it very difficult to discern truth from manipulation. And so, it's like choking, uh, algorithmic feeds that can choke diverse perspectives and drown them out. And so the weakening education system issue reduces the concept of critical thinking and the
Yes.
need to evaluate sources and resist the propaganda. Without, I hate to use a druid analogy, but without strong educational roots, people grow as trees to become more susceptible to emotional manipulation instead of factual analysis. We already see that. AI images appear in social media streams and people believe it
Yep.
rather than attempting to authenticate that, which
Yeah.
causes which causes that problem.
Like just think about it. It was something that I was listening to on another show, and I forget who was talking about it, and I wish I remembered because it's a really good point though. Is you and me are talking right now, and oh, they were talking about, I believe it's the angry veteran or the angry vet. Somebody made an AI version of their account, spoof account, and that AI spoof account was trying to get him blocked as though it was the true version of him. Like, our voices are on the internet, our faces are on the internet, you and I in this background. If people weren't willing to check the sources, and that's where it really comes down to is, are you willing to check your sources? Are you intellectually curious enough right now to say, that doesn't seem quite like what they've said before, or that seems a little off? Um, do you think people are going to, do you think that the people who are protecting the pedophilia and this sort of behavior, because it all goes together, fascism goes with and like this type of governmental system. You saw it in Germany. It all goes with this party drug, disgusting pedophilia. And I don't say drug like smoking pot or simple things. I mean drugs like doing ketamine all the time or fucking living on LSD or Donald Trump Jr. on a video during the campaign snorting something from his pocket. I don't know what it was, but it was something. I saw him go on camera, like he snorted the shit out of something,
Right.
and nobody said anything. It's normalized. So, do you think that pedophilia itself, or say the age of consent, is going to be changed in areas? Because I know it's already low in in some states. Do you think it's going to possibly get lower or less restrictive?
So I going back to just going back to the AI impersonation issue.
Yeah.
By the way, Aaron, I have a very strong and very Judaic answer to the question that you posed in the chat, Aaron, and you're probably not gonna like it. Um, but following the AI impersonation issue, that's emotional manipulation. If you create either via AI means or otherwise, um, accounts that target people's respect for, say, the military,
Yep.
those algorithms amplify that emotional content. I mean, the rage bait shit that people in trans community see with Lily Tino is very clear. Um, you know, so fake accounts gain reach while real voices get suppressed, which is bullshit. And the reason that the government normalizes or, or even support it at whatever tactics serve their interests is why they do that. Like corrupted people, who do things for nature of power. They will simultaneously deny wrongdoing while exploiting the same tactics, and then they'll claim victimhood when they're exposed while silencing the opposition. In this case, in AI's case, with artificial means, and it creates a condition where hypocrisy just flows like a river through all of it.
Yeah. No, I love the analogies. I think it's great to have good foundational analogies. Like I wrote about it in a poem. Wrote a poem called Roots Reach Deep. Like it's about building our roots back up and remembering community. It's not abandoning like the world or globalization. It's remembering that localization is also just as important as globalization. Like you can't lose your local community just because we're now part of a global one. Um, and I think um I think we're things like Substack, things like this are really getting us back to local community because even though we're not next to each other, you and I have a lot in common. If we were living in the same town, we'd be friends. And I think that is a localization of a national community. Um, and I think that's what we need right now. Um, and I think everyone needs more of it with less of the hate. But I think using the analogies of like roots and earth and foundations and building and your home and like that's what it's about, right? It's about your family and those you love and the home around you. You have to build that up. And you can't do that without your support locally, without family, without friends. If you don't have family, if your family abandoned you, you make your family. Like my wife and I were on our own realistically in a lot of ways for the first 7 or 8 years of our marriage. And it wasn't because my parents didn't care. My parents loved us and wished they could come out a lot more. My wife's parents, we weren't really in touch with them and they couldn't come out. We were in Washington. We lived on the far side of the country away from everybody. Um, and nobody could come to visit. So we learned to be on our own and we built our family around us. Um, And I think that's what we need to do. COVID screwed us all up because we all became isolated and computerized. But I think we're now rebuilding it in a much more fluid way. What do you think?
Um, wow, that's a
That was a
complicated
lot.
answer.
I gave you a loaded question there.
Yeah, that's a restate the question.
Um, what? I don't know. I don't know if there was a real question in that, I guess. Um, I think that was more of just like a statement of, do you think, or how do you think the Substack community has helped rebuild our localized roots? That
Oh,
would be the question.
so uh that's the herd mentality. But instead of the herd mentality going in one direction, that's the herd mentality that seeks the validation that they want. See, mainstream media has failed us at every turn because mainstream media is controlled by not by one person, not by a series of people, but a larger body of people that make accountability difficult. For in Substack's case, you have and let's be clear, there are journalists who have long time been in journalism and they have Substack accounts and those accounts succeed. Dan Rather has The Steady. Now he has like 100 and some odd thousand readers or whatever, but if he fucks up, people hold him accountable. Now, I have an answer to Aaron's question, and it's a little perverse. Um, so I want to answer Aaron's question if I can. And Kimmy, you're not going to like it. Um,
Go for it.
so the Hebrew Betula, which is referred to in the same capacity as the Greek Parthenos, both denote virgin, but within the cultural concept where betrothal, which is the Hebrew word erusin, um, constituted legal marriage. So the the purported, because there's no physical evidence to support that the Virgin Mary was raped. I'm one of those people. I ascribe the belief that it was a Roman soldier that raped Mary, and that's where Jesus came from. But that's not a popular opinion. But Mary's yes, the fiat, as it's called in the language, to Gabriel represents theological consent from Jewish legal frameworks. Because the archangel Gabriel told Mary, you will do this and this will happen, that constituted consent. And so in the Greek iteration, Eudokia, that happens in Luke's first chapter. Let it be unto me according to your word, demonstrates agency, not victimhood. Under the Jewish tradition, modern traditions, it's fucking rape. It's an angel raping the shit out of Mary. I completely agree. But your question was, why do liberal Christians find discomfort in it? Um, by projecting contemporary sexual ethics onto ancient texts without understanding uh, halakha, which is Jewish law. Um, the hypostatic union doctrine addresses divine incarnation. And yeah, I agree. Yes, that's being conflated inappropriately in a modern sense. Yes, completely. The theological foundation rests in kenosis, dividing or exemplifying divine self emptying. It's not predatory behavior biblically. Now, under current circumstances, it is completely predatory behavior. But under the social construct of early, and even before that, pre Jesuit, pre Jesus social concepts, it was completely okay. Um, Mary's Magnificent, Luke's first chapter, 46:55, celebrates that as liberation, not trauma. Because at that time, under the social construct, that's what it was. Um, the interpretation, therefore, doesn't necessarily understand Alma, which is the Hebrew word for prophecy, which in Isaiah uh, suggests reducing sacred mystery to crude literalism that ignores Jewish theological tradition. Um, and so, what do you both feel about the sexual age of consent from a biological or a social standpoint? You're asking a person who was sexually abused at the age of 10. I don't believe that there exists consent in any person under the age of 18. I don't. And there are two reasons that I believe this. One, anyone under the age of 18 does not have a fully abstract developed mind. There are still prefrontal cortex changes that are happening in the human brain from 18 and certainly before that, that in my mind cannot allow a person to make an educated, informed decision whether or not to have sex with someone or not. And certainly, significantly before that, somebody at 15 or under that age has the ability to be manipulated or controlled or otherwise directed in ways that a person who does understand abstraction can manipulate those people to commit those acts, which is also inherently wrong.
Yeah. Okay. So I know it was also said in there, both of us, we want, both our opinions on this. I actually, to be totally honest, think 18 is too young for adults. I think like you were saying, and it's not from a physical or like being able to produce babies or mate or any of that stuff. It's just on it's on a mental thing. It's on your brain. Like men's brains don't really fully develop until they're 25-ish, like early mid 20s. Females, yeah, a little bit younger, but it's still in your 20s that you're really an adult. Um, and like I said at the beginning, I think it's disgusting, especially once you get past a certain age in your 20s. If you think somebody around the age of 18 is sexually attractive and you pursue it in any way, like people have stupid thoughts and people have bad thoughts and people have thoughts that just always flow through your brain. But it's the people who take their thoughts and then act on them like, oh, I'm 25 and this 18-year-old, or I'm 29 and this 17, 18-year-old, she looks pretty cute. I'm going to go and predator her because that's what you are at that point. You're too old for that person. You are fully developed. They are not. And like you said, Wendy, you cannot consent to an assault or an attack. It's an attack. It's not consent. It's not consentful. It's not sex. It's it's great. I'm gonna use the pure word for it so that we don't get dinged by anything. But that's what it is. You cannot consent until you fully know how to be a person. Like until you're a full human and you have the rights, especially as in America, until you have the rights to really defend yourself and have a voice, hands off, completely, hands off. I think we could go further and say, but I'm not about adding more restrictions onto people. I'm about adding and like presenting morally acceptable and ethically responsible restrictions that should be there. Like vaccines. We're going to shift topics for a second. because it sort of goes in all this bullshit too, because it's all that cult think and that hive mind mob mentality that's going on is um is vaccines. Sorry, lost my train of thought there for a second. And vaccines and the anti-vax movement. It's the whole herd thing. Like they're convincing themselves that vaccines are bad and vaccines are some sort of like government tracking device and all this bullshit, and they're making you sick or they're changing your DNA or it's all eugenics that's behind all of that. But it's all cult thinking. It's all meant to normalize bad behavior and unethical behavior. So that was a long way to answer, Aaron. If I think 18 might be too young. Just coming at it from a cognitive side is like you're not. I wasn't an adult until I was older, like until I was in my mid 20s. Like I joined the army and I became an adult and I learned how to be an adult because I wanted to grow up. But it's also taken me years of marriage and years of therapy and years of being a person who's willing to accept that I have flaws too, especially become a real adult. Like, but we also need to make spaces available for men to be able to do that. We can't push men out of every space. And I think that's part of the problem that we're facing isn't that men are there are bad men. I'm never going to say there are not. There's a reason people say all men. There's a reason women go to the other side of the street at night when a man, biggish, white, has a beard, maybe looks kind of like me, is walking down the street. There's a reason those things happen. I've accepted that. I hate it. I hate it because I don't represent that, but I understand why it's there and I understand the need for it. But we need to make spaces for men available again where we can do things that are more emotionally exposed. Like I write poetry and I read poetry on a podcast, and now I read poetry in live videos. Like I'm nervous as shit to do all of that. But you know what? I'd rather do that and write poetry and get my emotions out than go shoot people. Like, for fuck's sake, go see a therapist. Don't shoot
Right.
people. Don't do the dumb shit. Just go see a therapist.
Yes.
It's same with the pedophilia stuff. Like, if you have those thoughts, go see a therapist. They can help you. Go see someone. They won't judge you. They're there to help you. As long as you don't act on it and you do the right thing and you talk to someone and you say, "Hey, I want help." That's a that's a much better person. Thanks, Kat.
Susan, Su-
My mom's a psychologist, so I learned this at a young age. Is like mental health is super important and taking care of yourself. And I've been on the edge. Like I'll tell my story here in a couple minutes. Um, but um, and then we'll end on some high notes today. Because I want to read a poem to continue our Epstein saga. Um, but mental health is important. Actually, Wendy, do you mind if I tell you my story
oh, yeah.
that I was talking about before? Okay, so I'll introduce myself a little bit more, and this goes into the mental health stuff and why I think it's important that we're having discussions like this where we're exposing the unethicalness and the immorality of what's happening in the shifting of the Overton window and the failings of things like our health care system. So I'm a um, I'm a disabled veteran. I was in the army, and I came out a couple years ago now, and I had an injury that was getting worse, and I was getting ready to go into surgery. I was coaching my son's soccer team, and I re-hurt myself. And the next day, I had an appointment with my surgeon, and I went in. I was obviously in need of some support, and yeah, I probably could have gone to the ER, but he gave me some like bandage support, and he didn't even look at it. And so I took the brace, and I left, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm good. A couple months later, I started experiencing some really bad symptoms, and and I'm now diagnosed with fibromyalgia, 2.5 years in, of a diagnosis sequence. Um, but at the very start of it, when it kicked off, I went to the ER, and my wife brought me down, and I've got two kids, and they came with me, and they're younger. Um, and I've never told this story to a bunch of people. So this is tough, but I want to make sure everybody knows the importance of what's going on in mental health and keeping things forward. Is I went into the ER, and they barely believed me. They put me into like a little corner room. Um, I had to get the patient advocate involved, and the surgeon at the ER with the nurse came into this room. We'd been sitting there for about an hour. They had me in a wheelchair, didn't give me a bed, didn't give me anything, no, didn't check on me, didn't put any IVs, anything like that in. Hour-ish goes by. The ER guy comes in, ER doctor comes in with his nurse, and he starts talking to me. And he's talking about, oh, well, your symptoms are this. We're not going to be able to do anything. This is the ER. We won't be able to do an MRI or anything like that. The VA cannot approve this or cannot do this. And I said, no, my advocate just said you can. And he kept talking. And I asked him, so why didn't my provider see me at the time when I came in? And he said, well, he wasn't going to get paid to do it, so he didn't say anything about it or do anything. So, yeah, and I looked at him, and I asked him, with my kids in the room and my wife sitting there, I asked him, "Did you just tell me my life was worth nothing? Like that because a provider was not going to get paid, that my life was worth nothing? My pain, my suffering, what I wanted, the support I needed was worth." And he told me again, yes, because the provider wasn't going to get paid. I looked at the nurse and I told him, if he continues to speak, I would rather die. And I meant every word of it in front of my children, young children. And I say this, and I don't, and I'm still here, obviously. This was 2.5-ish years ago. And now I'm for almost 3 to 4 months into not having a primary care provider with fibromyalgia and possible MS like symptoms coming up. I'm 35. I'm 35. I'm in my mid 30s. Like they're destroying everything, every little chip, every little cut. I say this because the one thing that got me through was mental health. It was the mental health team at the VA. There's been multiple times since then that I have not wanted to be here. But I have gotten up every day because the mental health team has given me the mindfulness and the ability to talk about and expose my feelings in a way that is helpful and productive to not only myself, but my wife and my kids and my friends. And now, hopefully, all of you around me. And I hope people appreciate that story or are mad by that story in some way, because I'm still mad about it, because I got a call not too long after all of it by the head of the medicine at the VA. You want to know what happened? The guy got the guy got verbally reprimanded, and that was it. The provider got verbally reprimanded. That was it. They didn't do anything for me. They didn't care, because it's not about the medicine. And I don't say that to downplay the VA. The VA has been incredible to me because of all the mental health services. And it's the thing that's the reason that I'm here. So talk about these mental health issues, talk about this stuff with your friends and your family, share your stories, open up about them, invite men in to talk about their stories too. Because there's a lot of young men in on the internet right now who are incels because they've had one bad experience in high school or they were rejected once, and they don't have a male figure in their life who can tell them, bucket, don't buck it up. Yes, but learn from it. Why did you get rejected? Did you get rejected because they were wrong or because you were wrong? and they don't have that figure in their life to tell them that, mental health and exposing these things gets people there. So I want to invite, if as we can, because I know there's so much hate and division, invite people in. Invite them in. Don't expect anything though. Don't ask for anything. Just invite them in. Tell them it's okay to ask for help. Tell them it's okay that you're there. Just that you're there for them if they need it. Invite them in and let them share, and don't just judge them right away. A lot of people are coming with no experience. So sorry, that was long and a bit depressing. Um, Wendy, I'll let you talk for a minute.
Oh, Susan Thorold asked the question earlier. Um, and so where does my understanding come from? I am clearly fluent in Hebrew, Greek, and Latin. I am additionally fluent in Russian, German, Gaelic, Italian, a limited amount of French, and a decent amount of Spanish. So I have multiple languages that I can approach. That said, I have a further extenuating education that is specific to the biblical text. And that is all I will say. That includes the Tanakh, the Talmud, um, the Greek translations of the New Testament, all of the Gnostics and apocryphal work, and then the Lateral Aquinas and other first, second, and third century texts that I spent years studying. And so my understanding of that text and the nature of that text and the language behind that text is higher than a normal layperson. And so when people ask that question, I'm like, yes, and here's why. And so I usually throw in some, you know, sensitive, um, uh, you know, uh, sensitive Hebrew language text in there to iterate that. But um, so, I even asked Lawrence this morning in the whatever's chat if I could convert to Judaism, and he literally was like, "If anyone could do it, Wendy, you could do it." I think a rabbi is gonna look at you and go, "I don't need to hear anymore.
Yep,
You're,
you're good.
yep, you're good."
Well, welcome.
Um, so that was the only point that I wanted to make. And so we're right at the. So you need to.
Yeah, we're right at the time. We're just about at the time that we wanted to hit today.
Yeah,
Um,
you need to read something beautiful. Please do
yeah,
that.
so I want to read something um that's a little uplifting, and it's actually something I wrote for Wendy. Um, I asked if I could write a poem for her for the full moon last month, couple weeks ago now. On the No, this month. 8 days. Holy shit. Only 8 days ago. Wow. Time is meaningless. Um, oh, has Miranda joined? Was she able to come today?
No, I think she's doing stuff. So
Okay. So I just posted in the chat the poem itself. It's called Shifting at Night. This one is about the full moon. And the poem is entitled Shifting at Night, Shed Off the Old. Um, and so I hope you enjoy. And I hope this brings you a little bit of uplift before we keep going and keep fighting on, and keep shifting the narrative back to where it should be, where it's ethical and moral. So here is Shifting at Night. Rifting, drifting, shifting at night. Wild, riled, a full moon's light. Bring out the old, shed off the old. Sorry, let me restart that. I want to restart it so I actually get it right. Apologies, friend. This is live, so this is really my third poem reading live, so I'm still a bit nervous. Bear with me. Sifting at night. Rifting, drifting, shifting at night. Wild, riled, a full moon's light. Bring out the new, shed off the old. This is the night, once long foretold. Drifting, shifting, uplifting, and bright. Mild, child, their reborn light. Shrug off the old, shed into bold. This is the night, let it unfold. Cleansing, clearing, renewal is near. Waxing, waning, bright and clear, washing, wishing, let go of fear, setting, spreading, welcoming here, uplifting, drifting, shifting at night, preparing ourselves for full moon's light, set off the cold, spread into bold. This is the night, one to behold, cleansing the light, clearing the night, waxing our might, waning our fright, washing in right, wishing for sight, shifting a spite, spreading a light, rifting, drifting, shifting at night, wild, riled, a full moon's light. Bring in the new, shed off the old. This is our night, one for the bold. And with that, Wendy, do you have anything to add before um, we call it a goodbye for everybody?
Oh, I was completely moved by that reading. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And I hope everybody enjoyed today's show. Wendy and I will be doing this probably fairly often. Um, and coming at you live and giving you some, hopefully, some good news along with the bad. And please remember to subscribe if you're not to either one of us. We love the support. I know I do. I'm newer to all of this. And I appreciate every single one of you coming here and listening to us talk. Wendy, do you actually? I might be able to capture the chat today too.
Oh,
Ooh.
I can well. I think I can do it. Here,
Yeah, do you mind?
no,
Thank.
no, 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 not at all.
All
Uh,
right. Thanks, everyone. Really enjoyed the time with y'all, and we'll see you again soon.